Are you a globalist or nationalist? Devil's advocate here. Check out my shirt. Look at it. Get a good look. Look at it. Appreciate it. All right. So, today's video, globalism versus nationalism. And the reason I want to talk about this topic is because recently I heard the term white nationalist thrown in a lot of news segments and stuff that I read online, right? And I didn't even think about it. But without researching and without thinking about it and just laying eyes on it or hearing it, white nationalists and white supremacists were always linked hand in hand. And so I always thought that. Oh, white supremacists, white nationalists, white supremacists. But that was literally me just accepting something without even really thinking about it. And I'm like, well, if I did that, somebody who I like to consider myself a relatively analytical person, how many other people are doing that? What is a nationalist? What is a nationalist? Anybody ever? I wonder how many people think about what is a nationalist by definition. By definition, a nationalist is just somebody who takes pride in their country. More specifically, a nationalist is somebody who wants what's best for their country, what's in the best interest for their country before anything else. That's what a nationalist is. So when you say white nationalist, that means he's a white person who cares about the best interest of the United States before anything else, technically speaking. But that term, somewhere along the line, got thrown into the bucket with white supremacy. So by definition, Donald Trump is a white nationalist. By his very actions, regardless of what people say, his actions very sharply demonstrate that he does what's best for America and the American people. And he's white. That makes him, by definition, a white nationalist. So, ipso facto, in some people's eyes, that makes him a white supremacist. Why? Well, I could think of one primary reason why. We don't believe in open borders. I don't even believe in open borders. I think most rationally thinking person would be against open borders. That's dangerous. I won't go too far into that. I'll stop there. But that's what it is. So by definition, I'm a black nationalist. Because I like and appreciate and prefer whatever's in the best interest of this country. So by definition, that makes me a nationalist. So if I say, all right, we got two choices to make here. One choice is going to benefit the rest of the world and not America so much. And the other choice is not going to benefit anybody, but America's going to see all the benefit. I'm going to go with the choice where America sees all the benefit because that's where I live. This is my soil. So I guess by definition, that makes me a nationalist. That doesn't mean I don't care about people in other countries, but their leadership is responsible for their people and their territory. We're not responsible for them. We don't need to be playing big brother to everybody and trying to save the world. We can't afford it. But anyways, I digress. So then you have globalist. The globalist, if you ever think about what a globalist is, it's the exact opposite. Open borders to the eventual idea of that we can have one peace, love, and harmony where the whole world just hugs itself under one regime and one set of leadership principles. Now, I'm not sure how much anybody has put thought into that idea, but I don't see that ending very well. Again, I could be wrong. That's just my perspective. Because typically, the higher something goes up the echelon, the more removed they become from what's going on at the ground level. So just imagine that a small group of people were in charge of all the decision-making processes for the entire planet. Because you or people want this globalist society. I don't see that ending well. I could be wrong, but it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right to have a handful of people in charge of so much land, territory in life, all over the planet. And to try to dictate one way of life for everybody. But hey, I could be wrong. I'm just here to decipher the difference between a globalist and a nationalist. So remember, you saw in my last video, I had my, hindsight is 2020 Bernie Sanders shirt on because I used to be a Bernie bro. I did. I used to support Bernie Sanders. I used to support Bernie Sanders because in general, I didn't like politics. I thought everybody was a freaking liar. Well, it's not that I don't believe that anymore, but it was just that Bernie Sanders in particular, no matter how far back I looked in his history, he was always saying the same thing over and over and over again. I was like, well, gee, at least if I pick Bernie, at least I know what I'm getting. That's basically what it was. I was like, they was like, man, but he has dangerous ideas. His ideas don't even make any sense. I was like, yeah. The more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, they don't. I mean, they're pie in the sky ideas, and there's no feasible way to execute it. It really isn't. It's non-sustainable. But it sounds enticing to a younger generation that's up to their eyeballs in student loan debt, or don't even have the money to go to college, so free tuition to universities and free health care for all. All that stuff sounds fantastic, right? It's very appeasing. It's very enticing to the younger generation. It's very enticing to a lot of, people in general, especially college-going people, educated people. So that's why I think, and then that's why, a lot of people got a lot, that's why Bernie Sanders got a lot of support, was for that handful of ideals. And, a lot of younger people like, I don't care. I don't care ultimately what the end result is. He's just selling something that could benefit me right now. I'm game. Let me get some of that. We'll worry about the fallout later. We'll worry about the aftermath and the consequences of those decisions later. Let's just get that slate cleaned off now so that I can live. But anyways, just think about it. How would you think a one world government would go? Because that's what globalists ultimately want. It doesn't just stop at open borders. It starts at open borders and stops at one world government. So, again, going all the way back to my first video, this whole conspiracy theory is not a conspiracy. It's happening right in front of your eyes, or it's trying to happen right in front of your eyes. Nobody's trying to hide it. But it's just being sold as this peace, love, and harmony idea when ultimately that's not what's going to happen. This is not the first time in history that somebody has tried to do something like this. It's been done at a smaller level, and it's always had catastrophic effects. Just do some history. I always say do some history. Just go research some history. And go do some history. But anyways, being a white nationalist does not make you a white supremacist. And think by that, by nature, I would think that most people that are American citizens should be a nationalist at heart anyways. You should love your country. You should want things that are done in this country to be in the best interest of this country. That's what makes sense. That's how you survive. That's how you remain superior. Whether you like it or not, this is all one big competitive system. Existence is a competitive system. Life is a competitive system. There is no, free handouts. There is no scenario where everything is just great for everybody. That's not how it works. There will always be the haves and there will always be the have-nots. Now we're in a position, I believe, we're in a position where we can maintain what we have going on here because we are, even in all of our problems and issues that we need to hash out, we are the haves. There are people who literally risk their lives to leave their country to come to this country. That tells me that we're probably still the most preferred country to live in the world by most standards. Maybe not for everybody, but I would think overall, most people are jealous of what we have here. Or we wouldn't have so many people risking everything, including their lives, to come on this soil. And I think a lot of people they take it for granted. Of course they do. They were born here. And I'm going to make a solid point. I don't think this has anything to do with globalism or nationalism. This is just a point on how our society takes what we have for granted. So me being in the field of work that I'm in, we get people that come over from Africa. And these African people, they see the land of opportunity. That is what they see. They see everything that's available to them here that they never had a chance to get where they came from. And they're on top of it. They go after it. They are usually very productive, very well educated, and very successful individuals because they come here and they don't play any games because they understand where they came from. They came from nothing, and they came from somewhere where you can come here with nothing and turn yourself into a somebody. And I remember talking to this guy, won't say his name, but he was an African dude. He was, I think I was in my late 20s and he was already in his mid 30s. He was from Africa. And he would always try to get the younger guys to go to school, get their education, to learn. And everybody was always busy screwing off. They wanted to get off of work and go play video games and stuff like that. And I remember one time he was at work, he was sitting there just shaking his head. He was reading his books and stuff. He was always reading books and taking notes and stuff because he was in school. He was just shaking his head as everybody was walking out the door. I was like, "What's up, man?" I said, "What's up?" I said, "Why are you shaking your head?" He goes, I might tear this up. I'm going to try to do his accent. He goes, "I don't understand." I was like, "What?" I don't understand. Your kids, these kids here, have so many opportunity. And then they don't care. They don't care. Where I come from, we don't have these opportunities. I don't understand. And then they don't take the opportunity and then they're going to complain why they're not successful. And I said, that's absolutely right. It's like a spoiled child. He thought about it. He's like, "You're right." I was like, it's exactly like a spoiled child. It's like having a spoiled child who grows up getting everything they want and they have no idea. They have no idea what it's like to not have anything because they've gotten so much. And even when they thought they weren't getting what they wanted, at some point, they still got what they wanted. And then it gets to a point where there's an awakening. And then them going that amount of time, getting what they wanted, and then being faced with the reality that at some point you literally have to earn your keep and work for what you want, then there's this shock, a shock to the system, because it's incomprehensible that in order to thrive and be successful, sometimes you have to go through something in a period of time of where it just sucks. That's it. But he didn't get it. I mean, he didn't get how we could squander away our opportunities. I said it was because we're in the land of opportunities. We've got so many opportunities. Half the time, people don't even know what to do with themselves. But either way, I'm going to wrap this up. I just wanted to come out here and shoot a quick video about, what it really means to be a nationalist and what it really means to be a globalist. And I can't think of anybody that's a rationally thinking person at this point in my life that could support globalism. If you care anything about your current way of life. Now, if you don't care about your rights and your liberties and your freedoms and the way you live here in America, if you couldn't care less about that, and you don't mind being micromanaged in every single facet of your life, where somebody can tell you what you can and what you can't say, and if you say something or protest against the government, it can result in your death. You don't live in those kind of countries. And I would say, if you appreciate having the liberties to be the level of a complainer that a lot of people are right now, you should fight to keep things the way they are. Because under a different society, under a different set of rules, if you look at what happens around the world, the kind of things that we do here would get you killed somewhere else. Something to think about.